Welcome back to the Jeff Davis Show. My name is Hassan. Working out more with Jeff Davis and Deborah Stevens in a little bit. First, I want to go ahead and plug a segment I've got coming up next week. Deborah hosts a radio show called The Rule of Law, and her co-host is a man named Randy Kelton. And Randy is a guy who got fed up with the government doing whatever they wanted, not playing by the rules, not following the laws. And they figured out the only way to make them actually play by the rules is to file criminal complaints against them. And so that's what he did last Monday. He went down to the courthouse and filed criminal complaints against a lot of your public officials. And I went down there with him to document it on my video camera. And what I got was some pretty good stuff. I got on tape your public officials telling Randy that he does not have a right to challenge them. And I also got some police intimidation on video, so it should be pretty cool.
Next week.
Next week, so tune in.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, I'm Deborah Stevens, and I have some very special guests here, members of the Rainbow family, my brothers. This is music, and this is each day. And music was the gentleman in the video that you saw at the beginning, okay, running down, playing drums in front of the feds. As you can see, none of us are afraid of them. And it was an incredible moment when I saw him do this, and so I'm really glad to get to meet him and have him on the show. And music was also incarcerated by the feds a few days later. And I would like you to please tell us about this, what happened to you in this situation, and then TJ's also going to tell us what he witnessed.
Well,
so go ahead.
This was at the Rainbow Gathering.
This was at the Rainbow in
a couple
Arkansas.
of weeks ago in Arkansas. Okay, go ahead.
Well, basically, I came walking down to the same site shown in the video, and the same female officer that lost her temper, that had the pepper spray weapon, grabbed me from under my jawline and around my waist, and basically threw me directly in the car without reason or. And
this was a few days later?
Yeah, it was 2 days after that.
2 days after that?
Yeah, and I was taken to their command post that they had sitting outside the forest where we were gathered, and they sat me out in the rain for a while, and they questioned me, asked me where I was from, and told me a bunch of things that were going to happen to me, and basically tried to intimidate me. And I just held on to my right to remain silent and refused to speak. I was then taken to jail about 50 miles away in a town called Jasper, and put in a room by myself. The air was turned up full blast, and I was soaking wet. Basically, they sprayed me with water and put me in a cold room, and then I was released the next day with no charges.
Did they tell you why they were doing this to you? Did they tell you why they were arresting you?
No, I never got that part, those details.
You never found out anything. They just grabbed you and did this to you, and you didn't find out why. Did they give you any paperwork at all?
No, none whatsoever.
Did you see a judge or a magistrate?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
They just basically kidnapped you.
Caught and released. And then I was released into a small town. I tried to hitchhike my way back and was stopped by the police and told hitchhiking was illegal, so I asked another officer for a ride and he told me to hitchhike. So it was just a never-ending circle.
Did they take your ID? Did they get your real name and stuff? Or
yeah, I gave them my name, and they actually withheld my personal belongings for about an hour and refused to give them back my stuff when I was released, and I had to go back to their jailhouse and demand kind of thoroughly to get my belongings back.
Now, this jailhouse that they brought you to, was this local, municipal, or county? Or do you know if it was federal?
I have no idea, but I do know.
In Jasper.
And everyone in there, minus one person, was from the Rainbow family and from the gathering.
How many people were in there?
At the time I was there, 11 people were there. Two others came in and were instantly released in the same way I was.
Do you know if anyone? Did you talk to anyone in there and find out if they saw a judge or a magistrate at all?
Oh yeah, the kids in there were going to see judges.
They were, but you didn't.
No, I didn't see a judge.
Okay. And then they just let you go?
Mm-hmm. Without shoes or a shirt or anything.
They're just practicing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be glad it wasn't target practice.
And this is like a pizza band, right?
Mm-hmm. And they did hold a taser in my face for a good 20 minutes while they were asking me to speak when I wanted to remain silent. When I had my hands behind my back and I was cuffed, officer bent me over in front of him, and it was a little different than the normal search procedure as far as the way he handled it. It was more like harassment, like a sexual harassment, and another officer commented when I cracked my neck that I was getting aggressive and they needed to use more direct force. So that's when the taser was put in my face as a means of control to keep me.
This is at a peace gathering.
Did they taser you in the face?
No, they did not.
You just stuck it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And were all of these? Do you know these were federal agents, right?
Quite sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So there were no other local, like police or sheriffs or state. This was all federal.
No,
but you don't know if the incarceration facility that they brought you to, if that was federal or anything like that.
I think it was a county jail that had been around since the early 1900s.
Okay.
There was a freon leak in that jail upstairs where they housed us, and it was not in good shape at all. The windows were easily openable.
There was a freon leak inside.
Yeah, the AC unit was leaking out a visible gas that was causing people to feel ill. And I basically slept the entire time I was in there. From the time I got upstairs, I passed out and woke up the next day to them telling me their exact words were, "We're kicking you out of jail." And I asked for paperwork or anything to know if I need to come back or if I have charges, and they said, "You can leave or stay. It's up to you." And I left without my belongings and came back to get them, and they said they didn't have them. And then ultimately they gave me my stuff in 3 separate loads. They gave me little piece by piece back.
So basically they just kidnapped you at gunpoint, threw you in this makeshift prison that had a toxic leak, and then no charges, no judge, no magistrate, no anything, and then they just kicked you out the next day.
They expected me to walk 50 miles back to where I had been barefoot in a small town with a lot of racial problems.
Incredible. Did you get any other stories of any other of the other people in there, how they were treated?
Well, most of the charges were pretty exaggerated for the sentencing, is basically to what the crimes were, and a lot of people didn't know their charges and were released without.
Was everyone sprayed down with water and thrown in this place?
No, definitely not. That was a special treatment.
That was a special treatment for you.
Because
Why did you merit this special treatment?
Well, I refused to speak because they finally told me they gave me an incomplete reading of my Miranda rights, which was that I had the right to remain silent, and I said, okay, I'll take that right, and I didn't speak, and that irritated them, I guess, to the point where they were pretty upset when I wouldn't speak inside the jail, so they put me in that room and gave me a minute to think about it.